Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome to the next lecture regarding the pharmacokinetic. And out of pharmacokinetic, now today we will go through some concept buildings regarding absorption, distribution, and metabolism of drug. Now, absorption we know is actually the passage of drug molecules into the bloodstream. It is just similar to, as I have already told you, the absorption of different nutrients from GIT to the blood, like absorption of glucose, absorption of protein, water, etc. Similarly, absorption of drug is also the passage of drug molecule into the blood stream. So obviously, first of all, these molecules permeate the membrane from the site of application, and then they enter into the bloodstream. Usually the commonest route of administration is GIT. So absorption occurs through GIT, either through stomach or different parts of small intestine or even large intestine. So after GIT, there may be other site of administration also, as we have discussed in the route of administration. It may be parenteral, that is intramuscular, intravenous, subcutaneous, etc., or through inhalation through lungs membrane, or sublingual, or so many others. So once they enter into the circulation, it may be a regional one also, for example the portal circulation, or it may be systemic as seen directly when given through injection, etc., or through inhalation. So once the drug is inside the blood, we declare absorption has occurred. Now, factors which may affect the crossing of membrane, because we have just seen that for absorption, crossing the membrane is important and essential. Otherwise, absorption will not occur. So, what factors may affect the membrane crossing? Now, both why we are discussing absorption, and later on we will discuss distribution or even excretion, etc. So, factors are usually same. And the first factor is the solubility of the drug. Solubility is actually the ability of a drug molecule to diffuse through the membrane. So to diffuse through or to cross the lipid bilayer membrane, this is the solubility. So usually of two types of solubility, lipid solubility and water solubility, but the most important one is lipid solubility. So the drugs which are lipid soluble, they are easily absorbed, and the drugs which are water soluble, they are not easily absorbed. They have to pass through the water channels present in the bilipid membrane, that we will see later on, inshallah. Now this is the diagrammatic explanation of the drug molecule which is passing through the various membrane and entering into the blood, that is absorption. Now other factors, they include, the most important one is unionization. Unionized drug is lipid soluble also. So unionized drugs can easily cross the membrane, while the ionized cannot cross the membrane. Obviously, smaller size molecule can easily cross, and the site where blood flow is proper, they can easily maintain the concentration gradient, and so obviously drug molecule can cross the membrane rapidly as compared to this site or even in the condition in which the blood flow is not proper. For example, when a patient is suffering from shock, so obviously in shock, blood flow to the various organ is very much slow. So in shock like state, drug absorption is very low. And other important is the surface area available. So if the large surface area available, absorption will be rapid. and more easily absorption will happen, like from alveoli or like from jejunum, because villi are present there, a large surface area is available, so they are better absorbed from such areas. This is the permeation. Now, permeation is actually the movement of the drug molecule across the membrane, whatever it is coming in its way. So obviously it depends upon the lipid solubility. So the lipid soluble drug, they are easily permeated, and after permeation they are entering into the blood and then absorbed. There may be different transport mechanisms which are involved for crossing the membrane during absorption distribution. Passive diffusion, active diffusion, or facilitated diffusion, or endocytosis. All you have already studied in physiology, but again, we will go through inshallah after a few lectures. Another important will be passage through the specific membranes, like specifically through the blood-brain barrier or through the placenta. Now, after absorption, let's see now distribution. So, we know that distribution is the movement of the drug molecule to various body compartments. Obviously, here again, drug has to permeate through various body parts in which they are going to be distributed, in which they are going to be entered. So after absorption, the movement of drug molecule to various body compartments by permeating various body membranes is the distribution. Remember, the first distribution of the drug after absorption is in the circulation itself, vascular compartment. So there are few drugs after absorption, they mainly remain within the vascular compartment. So their distribution is restricted to the vascular compartments. They are unable to leave the vascular compartments because, as we have just seen, the factors responsible for crossing the body membrane, they are unable to cross. Why? They may not be lipid soluble, they may not be unionized, their size may be molecular size may be larger one, or surface area available may be not sufficient in which they are supposed to enter like that. So there are some drugs, they are restricted to the vascular compartment. But majority of the drugs after vascular compartments, they are distributed to various body compartments. Now let's see what happened when the drug has entered into the vascular compartment. Now in the blood, plasma proteins are present. Drugs have attraction to bind with the plasma protein, what we call as plasma protein binding. So few fraction or percentage is present in the drug, other are with the in the bound form with the plasma protein. So there is always an equilibrium between the free drug and the plasma protein bind. This equilibrium varies from drug to drug according to its chemical structure. As we have said, remember, chemical structure is very, very important in all aspects, in absorption, distribution, and here also. How much percentage will remain free, how much will be plasma protein bound. Now I will give you two examples. One is of one of the ions used as drug, lithium. Lithium is ion, but its salt is produced, lithium carbonate, lithium sulfate, etc. And lithium is used for various purpose. When we will discuss the uh, antidepressant and antipsychotic, anti-manic problem, we will see the role of lithium also. Anyhow, when it is given, plasma protein binding is zero. Lithium has no attraction or affinity to bind with the plasma protein. So 100% of lithium will remain in the form of free. Second example, warfarin. In physiology, you studied that warfarin is an anticoagulant, orally given. So orally used anticoagulant. When warfarin is given, only 1% is free, 99% is present in the form of plasma binding. So whatever the amount is given, 10 milligram, 100 milligram, 1000 milligram, whatever of any drug. Here, usually dose of warfarin is only 1 milligram. But I'm just explaining you that whatever the amount of any drug is given, the ratio between free and bound will remain the same. Here, I have given the example of warfarin. If 1% free, 99% bound with the plasma protein. So, whatever the amount of or concentration of warfarin is present in the blood, because after that it will be metabolized and then excreted also. So drugs will gradually fall, plasma level or drug level will fall. But the equilibrium of 1 into 99 will be maintained always. That's I am stressing. So anyhow, remember the other distribution is only of free drug. Plasma protein bind drug cannot leave the vascular compartment. As I have told you, there are few drugs and I have given you just the example of warfarin. 99% plasma protein bound. So 99% will remain with the vascular compartment and only 1% can go to the various other body tissue. That 1% can leave the vascular compartment. However, just for your understanding, we know the warfarin is an anticoagulant and this coagulation process is occurring within the blood. So site of action of warfarin is luckily within the blood. So no problem whether it leaves the vascular compartment to other areas or not, because its site of action is not outside the vascular, it is within the vascular compartment. So after discussion, I will tell you now, if from vascular compartment, the first distribution is vascular, the second may be to the site of required action. There are so many drugs which have their own site of action. For example, we will see one of the drugs used in glaucoma, pilocarpine. It is the family of acetylcholine-like drugs. So it will go where the site of, and that is in the eye. Similarly, there may be some drugs going to act on the liver, on skeletal muscle, on cardiac smooth muscle, etc., etc. So every drug has their own required sites, and free drug of that fraction will go to the site of required action. Along with that, not only site of required, it will go to other sites also, sites unrequired. They will go there, but they will not produce any effect, and they will come back again. You see, as the equilibrium is present in free and plasma, the same equilibrium will also occur between the plasma and the site of required, plasma and the site of unrequired or storage. There are few drugs which go to some sites and get stored there. For example, fatty tissue or skeletal muscle. So anyhow, all are present in equilibrium. Again, here also ratio may be different. Here ratio may be 1 to 99% and site of required or other site may be remaining. If 99 is a 1% will go. If 1% here, 99 will go to these sites. Other sites will be site of metabolism. We know the major site of metabolism liver. So from blood it will go to liver also and will get metabolized there. Similarly, excretory sites major site is kidney. So the blood will take the drug molecules to the kidney, from where gradually, one by one, the excretion will occur. Now, as I've told you, if the drug is given orally through mouth, after absorption, obviously it will enter into blood, and the blood is belonging to port of circulation. So it enters into the port of blood stream after crossing the membrane present in stomach or intestine, etc. And it will enter the liver, and then it will pass through the liver, and then it will enter into systemic circulation. And this blood system will take the drug to its site of action. As we are going through this statement again and again, liver is the major site of metabolism. And metabolism is mainly breakdown, but it gets broken down into its pieces, or what we call as metabolites. Metabolites mean the pieces of the drug after metabolism. And at the same time, biotransformation also occurs. Biotransformation we will see later on, inshallah, but here I have told you, actually it is transformation, changing from one state to another. That means changing from lipid soluble to water soluble, changing from unionized to ionized, that is from non-polar to polar. Okay, so as we have seen, unionized lipid solubles are obviously the ionized or polar will be water soluble. So here remember, the purpose of transformation is to convert the drug into water soluble. Now again we know lipid soluble is absorbable, so water soluble will be excretable. So the major purpose of biotransformation is to convert the drug into excretable form. So only then it will be excreted from the excretory sites. So as I have said to you, okay, actually drug metabolism is chemical and enzymatic reaction. Few are chemical reactions. Obviously here enzymes are also involved. So two types of metabolic changes: catabolic reaction and anabolic. Catabolic is breakdown into the metabolites, and chemical reactions are oxidation or reduction or hydrolysis. This is the same as you have already studied in your FSC or A level or O level, etc. Oxidation is addition of oxygen molecule or removal of hydrogen ion. Reduction is opposite. Hydrolysis is addition of water molecule. So although this definition is not complete, we will tell you later on when we will discuss the drug metabolism. Second reaction is anabolic reaction, anabolism, synthetic reaction. Here actually conjugation occurs. Conjugating part may be of acetyl or sulfate or methyl, etc. So or glucuronide. So conjugation reaction is the anabolic. So two types of reaction occurs in the metabolic site, mainly the liver. Now let's see result of metabolism, what happens after metabolism. First of all, changes in the activity of the drugs is seen. Now this sentence is very important to remain in your mind forever. Remember, majority of the drugs after metabolism, that means majority of the metabolites, we have thousands of available drugs for our use, but out of that, majority of them, after chemical reaction, oxidation, reduction, hydrolysis, they become inactive. And we have seen previously, inactive means elimination occurs. They are eliminated after metabolism. This is the first change. But there may be some example of drugs even after metabolism, they do not become inactive, they retain the activity. So that means they are not eliminated. This retention of activity may be of the same time uh, or type as of parent molecule, or it may be some sort of different one. इनके एग्जाम्पल आखिर में देखेंगे. So from here now, definition of elimination. It is a chemical change in drug molecule to make it inactive for the body. So obviously the first thing is through metabolism. So it can be achieved through metabolism. But if few of them, even after metabolism, they are not inactive, that means they are not eliminated. So obviously the blood will take those metabolites to the excretory sites and then they will be eliminated. So that is why in definition we always say it can be achieved either through metabolism or excretion, because excretion is the removal of the drug molecule outside the body, no more available inside for their action. Now let's have some examples of drugs with the active metabolites which are having the same activity as the parent molecule. Chloral hydrate, one of the drugs depressing the CNS, converted to trichloroethanol. Morphine, one of the opioids, actually very strong analgesic, but it is converted into morphine 6-glucuronide. It is also having very strong analgesic pain-killing effect. Cefotaxime is one of the antibacterial, converted into desacetyl cefotaxime. It also retains the antibacterial activity. Antibacterial agent हम पढ़ेंगे. Allopurinol, xanthine oxidase inhibitors used to decrease the level of hyperuricemia, decrease uric acid level. Alloxanthine active metabolites, it also has the same activity to reduce the hyperuricemia. Procainamide, one of the anti-arrhythmic drug converted to N-acetyl procainamide, it also retains the anti-arrhythmic activity. Primidone, it's barbiturate-like drug. So it is converted into active metabolites, phenobarbital, one of the barbiturates, very, very important, very common, and phenylethyl malenomide. PEMA. Abbreviation is PEMA. Anyhow, these are the active metabolites. So having the same activity as of the parent molecule. Other example, diazepam. It is also similar to barbiturates depressing the CNS, converted to desmethyl diazepam and oxazepam. They also retain the same activity and they reduce the CNS activity, depress the brain. Similarly, digitoxin converted to digoxin. You have already come across the name of digoxin as digitoxin, digitalis, used in cardiac problem, especially cardiac failure and few arrhythmias. Imipramine, one of the antidepressant agent, converted to desipramine. Amitriptyline, also antidepressant, converted to nortriptyline. So both are having similar activity, antidepressant. Codeine, one of the opioids, converted to morphine. So morphine again, the same analgesic. This is also having analgesic, but also suppressing the cough also. Other action also. All opioids is they can act as cough suppressant. So codeine can also be used as cough suppressant and morphine can also suppress the cough, dry cough. Spironolactone we will come across with diuretics and candidione, its active metabolites also retaining the diuretic activity. Toxic metabolite other than the same activities. Isoniazid, antitubercular, but its active metabolite monoacetylhydrazine is hepatotoxic. This is anti-tubercular, this is hepatotoxic. Morphine, previous was morphine 6-glucuronide, that was having the same analgesic, but this morphine 3-glucuronide is neurotoxic, producing toxicity in the brain and the peripheral nerves. Cyclophosphamide, one of the anti-cancer drugs. So its active metabolite is acrolein. it is having toxic effects, hemorrhagic cystitis, inflammation of bladder, urinary bladder. The inflammation is at such a level that superficial vessels can easily be damaged. So hemorrhage, bleeding occur. So hemorrhagic cystitis means bleeding through urinary bladder. Acrolein, this is the active and toxic metabolite of cyclophosphamide. Now remember, all these are very important as far as the MCQs are concerned, Viva questions, and even the SCQs. Second change is the changes in solubility. First was changes in activity, these changes in solubility. So we know two types of solubility, lipid soluble and water soluble. So because majority of them are lipid soluble, so after oxidation, reduction, hydrolysis, they become water soluble. So initially they were unionized, now they will be ionized. And we have just seen in the previous slides that now they are excretable. That is the purpose of biotransformation. While the other unionized drugs, either after chemical reaction, they are still unionized. They will go to other reaction, that is conjugation, anabolic reaction. So conjugation are through glucuronide, acetyl, morphine, sulfate, etc. We will see later on when we will discuss in detail. So because these are itself ionized, so this ionized part, when will combine to the metabolites or the drug, the whole molecule will become ionized. That means water soluble and excretable. So after this conjugation, whatever the drugs left for water solubility, no, 100% water soluble will occur, 100% will be excretable, and biotransformation is complete after conjugation. That we will see later on, inshallah, in detail. So definition of biotransformation is, and now remember, it's a reversible because it's enzymatic changes in the drug through enzyme to make the drug unionized water soluble. So within the body, there are few sites where opposite enzyme are present, which will, after conjugation, they will unconjugate again. So here they are conjugated to ionize. Before they were unionized. But again, after those sites where enzyme will come across, basically in the large intestine, where normal bacterial flora is present, they are producing some enzymes also. And those enzymes can unconjugate the conjugated molecules in the body and again become water soluble and excretable. This diagrammatic explanation, the metabolized and unmetabolized drugs or prodrug enters the system after oral, अभी देखिए, are being absorbed through portal circulation, enter into tubular, here metabolism occurs. So obviously in the very first entry, not 100% of the drug is metabolized. Again, depending upon the chemical structure, this metabolism may vary very fraction to near to 100%, almost 95 or more than 95%. So then both metabolized and unmetabolized parts, they enter the systemic circulation and they will distribute to the various body parts. So again, drug is active. If metabolites are also active, they will also show effect. But in majority of cases, because after metabolism, they become inactive, so there is no more activity of those drugs after metabolism. This is another diagrammatic explanation. Oral drug is given. Now, this explanation is that few drugs can get metabolized even in the wall of GIT because their enzyme is present here also. We will give the example of levodopa. Its metabolizing enzyme is dopa decarboxylase. It is present in the wall of GIT also. So while crossing the membrane after absorption, they can get metabolized. So after absorption, drugs which is still metabolized or unmetabolized, they will enter into systemic circulation through portal circulation, and through portal circulation they will go to the liver. Again here metabolism occurs because they also have abundant amount of metabolizing enzyme, especially cytochrome P. This abbreviation CYP is cytochrome P450. Now remember this name. This is one of the most important enzyme involved in the metabolism. And then, as I've told you, metabolized and metabolized drugs will enter into systemic circulation. Further explanation of these things. After oral dose, unabsorbed may go through feces, and through feces they will be excreted. Remaining part, while being absorbed through portal circulation entering into liver, or even in the wall of the GIT, they can be metabolized also, as we have seen previously. And in the liver again, metabolism occurs. So both metabolized and unmetabolized will enter the system circulation. But if unmetabolized part which is entering into system circulation, that part, that fraction, that percentage is known as bioavailability. Okay. So although in circulation both metabolized and unmetabolized enter into systemic circulation, but that fraction or percentage or ratio which enter unmetabolized, that is known as bioavailability. So whether the drug itself or is a prodrug, even a prodrug unmetabolized, still inactive, but bioavailability is only as by definition unmetabolized part as such enters into systemic circulation. Now this is the definition of bioavailability. It is a fraction or percentage. Please remember this always. Never say it's an amount or concentration. It is a fraction, a ratio or percentage of the administered dose of the drug that reaches into systemic circulation in unchanged, unmetabolized form when given through any route, whether orally or intravenously or intramuscular, through inhalation, etc., etc. Unmetabolized, unchanged part or percentage reaching into systemic circulation is the bioavailability. Now the drug, that part which has entered to systemic circulation will reach to the site of action. Only obviously the active part which is not yet eliminated will reach to site of action to show its effects. So whether given through orally or through any other route. But the only difference is when given orally, first of all, it will pass through the portal circulation and then through liver, the unmetabolized yet not eliminated will enter into system circulation and that will take the site of action. While if it is given through other routes, so obviously through intravenous or intramuscular, subcutaneous or inhalation, sublim. So as such, because it is entering directly into system circulation, the all absorbed part will not be eliminated yet. That part can go to site of action to show its effect. Now anyhow, lastly, although we will study later on, but excretion. The definition of excretion is the removal of the drug molecule outside the body through excretory organ. It may be still present and active, or it has become inactive after metabolism in the system circulation. So this is excretion. So drug after biotransmission has become excretable. So may be excreted to kidney, or if secreted into bile to the intestine, then excreted through feces. Because we know that after biotransformation, they are excretable, and if present in the blood, they will be excreted through kidney. But if some part is secreted into the bile in conjugated form. That conjugated form, or it may not be in the conjugate as such, it is also secreted into the bile, so they can be secreted through feces. However, please keep it in mind here also, in cases the conjugated form when coming into the intestine, when a large intestine where normal bacterial flora is synthesizing such enzyme which can again unconjugate it, and the excretable drug will can be changed again into absorbable, because in conjugated form they were ionized, in unconjugated they again become unionized. So unionized again lipid soluble, again absorb, so it's again absorb and enter into this water circulation, and will again through liver will bring to system circulation. This we will discuss again inshallah further in detail when we will discuss the particular. Thank you very much.